Hey everyone, it's Lisa with Primitive Gatherings, and today we are here at my home on what we call Anchor Point, and I just want to bring you around the house, show you a little bit of my spring decorating. Not too much, but a little bit. I don't go over the top for decorating. And then we are going to do a trunk show or bed turning, however you are familiar with that term or not. But a bed turning is when you peel back layers and layers of quilts that I have from my collection from my vintage 30s and 40s. So look forward to that at the end. Don't skip out early. That's where all the magic happens, looking at the quilts. But while everybody's jumping on, I want to waste a little time. Look what just came about 2 seconds ago. It is a box. And now I know I did not order a Bernina sewing machine, but on it, I can kind of tell where it's from. It is another antique quilt, or maybe 2, or maybe 3, who knows, I can't remember. But this is how I acquire a lot of my antique quilts. eBay. I shouldn't tell you all my sources because then you'll be bidding against me. But I don't know what it is, but I have this passion for bringing home these quilts. And I never used to collect the 30s and 40s quilts, but I just fell in love with them. And right now, they just kind of seem to be the quilts that are readily available out there. Like nobody wants grandma's quilts, which I think is a shame. So shame on them and good for me, right? Or us, or all of us who are collecting or doing stuff like this. Oh, I know which one this is. Okay, so just to back up a little bit, I collect quilts, 1, to decorate my home, 2, to use the fabrics because I am a motive fabric designer. How cool is that? And then sometimes to recreate the pattern. So that's why I buy these things. But I also want you to know that if you ever get a chance to come to the gathering, our new retreat house that we are in the building stages right now, that should be done sometime in July, you will be able to sleep under an antique quilt and maybe bring that antique quilt home with you. So I'm thinking that some of these will be for sale. Now I will change the quilts from spring and summer is probably one season in Wisconsin, if you didn't know that already. So probably like the 30s and 40s on for spring and summer, and then we'll go to the darker quilts for fall, and then we'll go red and white at kind of Christmas time, blue and white during the winter time, and then we'll just kind of like keep switching them around. So some of them may be for sale. That's why I keep buying them, because it's a good excuse, right? All right, so now couple of these things are for my son. So he has an adventure van, and this one is not very old. It is old, but it is for my son Jake because he appreciates quilts as much as I do. But this is like super soft. It's almost like sweatshirt material. So I bought this for him at a very, very, very reasonable price for him to take in his van. How cool is that? And him and the boys will love this, and that's what that one is for. So if you're just coming on right now, we are just kind of showing you a little bit of my mail that I just got. I'm looking at for the first time since I purchased it online. Okay, so this one. And to be honest, sometimes these quilts were so reasonable that I had to buy them, even though it might not be my favorite. Like, I'm not really a butterfly person, but how sweet will this be on a little girl's bed or on a bed at the retreat house during spring and summer? So these are all the feed sacks that we will be talking about later on. So everybody say hi. Tell us where we're from while we let everybody jump on. We do have a special guest for you today. A surprise. I'm not telling you who it is until I invite her. So just be aware of that. A quilt top. Now look at these little prints. So I probably bought this top to maybe reproduce this little print or several of them in this quilt. So let's see what this is, because maybe we like the pattern as well. Ooh, so it's a big kind of, yeah, what is this? It is not, I thought it was going to be like a ocean waves, but it's not. It's a little different. No half square triangles, they're all squares. So this might be a really fun one to do the pattern in, as well as use some of those fabrics in our fabric designing. I think this right here is the stunner of the bunch. How are we doing, Kaylee? We got some getting people on?
Yep.
So Kaylee is with me again today.
Hey, everybody.
And I have Christine. She's upstairs babysitting Jeter right now until we come down for the bed turning. Now this is, if I remember correctly, one of Bill Volkening's quilts. So this is a New York Beauty variation. And how stunning is that? I love it. Can't wait to give it a good home. It is machine quilted. So somebody with a brand new treadle or something quilted this. So that's really rare to see one machine quilted. But it is old. Check out this. We'll do a quick close up here, Kaylee. So that's an old binding that hasn't been put on after. But somebody ran this through their little sewing machine long time ago. Now, I don't claim to be a quilt historian. I know a little bit about my quilts. I do not know everything. So please forgive me if I don't get everything right. And please, if you know more than I do, tell us if I'm wrong, or say, hey, this is that, or this is this pattern, or no, that, Lisa, that quilt is not a 30s or 40s. Like the one I actually have on my bed, I know it's not a feed set quilt, but it's a spring quilt. So that's why I put it on. All right. So as it's been a couple minutes now, we're ready to get rolling with our spring tour of Anchor Point. So what is going to happen is, instead of Kaylee trying to drag all her equipment and follow me, you will see a screen come up and we will reposition our camera for a few seconds and then we'll come back on. So don't think we're over. We're just eliminating
the headaches.
All that, yeah, all that hurry up and reposition and get ready. So hang in there.
We'll tell you when we're done.
We'll tell you when we're done. Yeah. So I know we probably don't have any good elevator music for when that happens, but we're working on it. But isn't Kaylee doing a great job with our videos? I absolutely love the American Gatherings video. She did an awesome job. So thank you, Kaylee. They appreciate that. And all those little injections of close-ups and stuff like that, that's all her. She does that all for us. So please tell everybody about our YouTube channel and we will continue to get better. We promise. Okay, so I am in the foyer of our home here and I always decorate my cabinet. Now, I'm not going to show you these quilts that are in here because I might do this again and I need some quilts to show you that you haven't seen in the one before. So, but I think I have a total of around 40 what I consider 30s, 40s vintage feed sack quilts. So this is where we have some displayed, and you know that I change this for every season or every time I change over the house. Now, my house was built 5 years ago and it is very neutral. So everything is cream and gray, and it's very easy to just toss in some colored pillows, and then change the whole look of the house. So it's really kind of fun doing that. All right, so Kaylee's just gonna swoop over here. I do have one of my quilts called Teresa's Tulips here in the entryway coming in. And then there is, we're not gonna show the quilt on the bench coming in because, like I said, we will share that later in another video, maybe next spring If you hang around, if we're still doing this, if you still watch us, we will do that next year. So then I also have left from March, I have the green and white quilts still up. I did not change them. I will change them once we pull them off the bed. From the bed turning, I will put up all the pastel quilts. But this is what I had up in March. So just a little bit of green and white. So if you see a green and white quilt, I would love to have a couple more of them. So if you ever come across one, you could always text it to me. These quilts are fairly reasonable. When I buy these 30s and 40s quilts, seriously, they are like $100, $200, $300. I mean, I gotta buy them. I just can't help myself. So that is one of the reasons why I have to have them, is because I can't believe that people are giving up grandma's or great grandma's treasures. So one of the things I want to talk about, and I will repeat this again because I know some people come on and then we have new people come on. So I might go ahead and talk about a couple of things. But one of the things I really am so excited about is this feed sack book by Lindsay McCrae. And she is also a motive designer. And we have her fabric up on our website as well as this book for sale. The fabric is not on sale because we don't have a ton of it. And I'm afraid we're going to sell out like right away. And we still have some things we want to do with it. But the book is on sale on our website. But just look at how thick it is, for one. And it tells you everything you need to know about feed sacks. Now, what were feed sacks? Feed sacks were, instead of getting your flour or your sugar or your seeds or whatever in this type of bags, in the 30s and 40s, they went to what I think is like the biggest reclaiming or reusing or recycling of making them out of fabric so that women could use them for aprons, for quilt squares, for dresses. So this book is chocked full of all this reading material. And I'm sure a lot of you live this, you know this, this was your life. So it's just kind of a really cool trip down memory lane, because you probably seen these ads in the newspapers or in the magazines. And just to revisit these is super cool. Now, I admit I never was a big fan of these feed sacks, but I think the longer that you are a quilter, the more you can appreciate and respect all aspects of fabric and what the quilters do. So you kind of like grow up in your quilting. Like at first you only like, I only like the jewel tones, like I was a Kansas Trouble fanatic. That's all I made all my quilts out of, because that's what my home looked like, right? But then came the reproduction fabrics and then the crazy quilts for me. And now I'm obsessed with these 30s and 40s fabrics as well. So I think, like I said, you grow up. It's a journey. So if you're overwhelmed by a lot of this stuff, no worries. You'll get there. You'll learn, and you'll learn to appreciate and respect and just enjoy all there is to know. And we'll never know it all. I never know it all, but I can't wait to sit down and read this book from cover to cover. It is so full of pictures. And again, a great book. Martingale is putting this out. Now here's Lindsay. Let's do a quick photo opportunity of Lindsay. She is an awesome writer and now textile designer for Moda. So there's her information. You can follow her on Instagram at Seems Right, @Seems Right. Isn't that a clever name? Okay, so those are on our website. I don't have a lot for you to buy today, so don't think I'm going to be giving you all this stuff. It's basically a tour of the home and then the bed turning. Okay, so we're going to, I think, go off for a minute, reposition, and we'll be right back. So grab something to drink or settle in, because there's more to come. All right, so all we did is find a different spot in the living room. And I want to just show you like how I decorate the bookcases here. I like to leave a lot of the stuff. You'll recognize the ducks and the bird houses and some of the flower pots and stuff like that that I just leave out, and then I fill in a couple little pieces that I find. Now I love to find treasures. I love to I found this at a thrift store, and these, I love it when not everything is matchy-matchy, but I think I need to find one more of these pots, right? Just to fill that in, but it's all about the hunt. I will find one of those. I think those are like olive baskets or reproduction olive baskets. I love the punch needle stuff. So I have a rabbit there from a, with the needle and thread pattern there going on. So I'm just gonna come over here and over here. We took a family picture this year, so that's kind of still sitting there. I found this awesome typewriter. So that's gonna always live here. A little bit of greenery with my trucks from the Christmas time, the trees. That right there was like a little cubby cabinet from an old, somewhere I found that at an antique store. And then look at my little mini iron collection here. So I have a ton of irons, but look at how sweet. So someday we'll do some close-ups of all these little mini irons that we have. I have a little antique here on the table, a little doll quilt. I do think it is a cutter. Somebody put a new binding on this. And then look at the green pillows on the couch for March and for spring. I just want to point out too that I could not find this color anywhere. So I had the guys quilt me some fabric, and then I just made the pillows with the zippers in the back. So if you need some pillows, always remember to maybe to add a little bit to your quilt, and they can quilt that for pillows sometimes. So I don't know if you understand what that means. So you have your quilt top and you have your backing. So just make sure you add to your quilt top and your backing to support making a couple pillows, either to go along with your quilt or for something else that you have in mind. It's really no big deal. So I just think that is super cool that we can quilt some of these pillows or fabrics. This has a lot of Jeter hair on it. So my house is lived in. I always kind of kid my husband, can you just fluff the cushions after you're done squashing them all down? Yeah. Hi, Nick. So this is a project that I am working on hand quilting. I know some of you are super excited to know that you're going to get a video on how to do big stitch hand quilting. So this fabric line comes out in July called Yuletide Gatherings. And this is a little thing that we have with a layer cake and then some solid fabric, but lots to come on that. I'll be talking more about that a little later. So I think that is it for the living room. So again, we're going to adjust and be right back. All right, now all we did is turn 180 degrees and we are in the kitchen. So I'll start over here a little bit. So I do have some lighted cabinets. Oh, I know Kaylee doesn't like that fake light, but I have some lighted cabinets over here that I will switch things in and out of. I probably didn't spend a lot of time on those right now, but those are always a work in progress. I know I have a ton of blue glass that goes in there right after the springtime. So here's a quilt on the table. I love to decorate with a quilt on the table. I think it just brings so much more to the room as far as decorating the whole thing. And I want you to see how I live because I do kind of work in too many spots. So this right here is my folder and it needs to be updated a little bit, but this is all my antique quilts. And then in the categories, and if I have a appraisal for them, I put the appraisal right in with the picture of them. But I try to keep track of what I got, but I'm not always fast enough. I do put a quilt on my bench pad here because it's starting to get a little bit worn and sun faded, and Jeter loves to sit here. So I try to protect that for as long as possible. And I know that I have a quilt and that's just as precious too. So I do wash that about, once every week or two there. But these are all my blueprints. There's always questions about the build, and I'm always getting emails and texts about this or that, and I just leave this stuff out now so it's easy for me to see. Here are some renderings. I'll bring you this one. A rendering of kind of the retreat house. Now, this is not set in stone. This is kind of an architect's way of trying to figure out what it's going to look like. But this is from the inside of the gathering, looking out the front door. So, of course, we wouldn't have all this gray fabric on here. This would all be, I think they're trying to get like a quilt there, and then they're trying to show the sewing machines on the desks. And then here's our little snack bar area. And then over here is our dining room. And we do have a black ceiling. And that is kind of our wood planks that we have on the floor. So I keep all this handy in case I need to answer a question. But yeah, it's not always contained to my work area. I like to be cooking something in the kitchen while I'm doing something else. Okay, so Kaylee's just gonna come over here. So this is the kitchen. I like to, the boys are coming over. They were over this weekend, my grandson, so we always have lots of treats at Mimi and Papa's house. And I love to cook, and you will see me in the kitchen more coming up. So Kaylee and I have a couple things that we are going to do some cooking videos. So I look forward to that. All right, and then here's my letterboard. I love putting things on the letterboard. So this was the most clever thing I could find for Easter this year. And we do have these really fancy high-end letterboards for sale on our website as well. Maybe one of the girls watching can throw that link in there. And we got a whole bunch of new little decorations on the site. They came out with a whole bunch more for all the cool things for us to talk about. All right, so I think it's time for the bed turning. So we're going to reposition again. See you soon.
You're on.
Hey everyone. Okay, we're back here in the bedroom with 25 quilts on the bed. Now, one of the things I want to talk about again is this super cool book featuring all the 30s and 40s, feed sec, anything you need to know. This is on our website and it is on sale for you for a short period of time. I don't know what that looks like. Jessica will tell us how long we'll have it on. Probably at least a week, but get your order in so we can get our order in for those, because we don't know if you're going to order, if we're going to sell 5 or if we're going to sell 50. We don't know. So great book. All right, now I have my guest with me here. Christine is going to help me roll back the quilt. Now, I just want to point out one thing. Now, you know why I buy these quilts. I said earlier, because I want to reproduce the pattern, because I want to reproduce some of the fabrics, and I need these. I need these to do that. And I want to pay respect and honor the quilt makers before us. So I do that by remaking their quilts, by talking about them, by showing you them. But if you decide that you absolutely love one of these quilts and you're going to make it, because there are some of you that are that good that you can just see a picture and you can make one of these quilts. So all I ask is contact me and let's work together and let's do this, and maybe we can make a pattern of it, because I can't make a pattern off of every one of the quilts I have. Does that make sense? And let's just do it together. And I know, like I said, some of you ladies are super smart and you don't need a pattern. Just like I don't need a pattern, but let's just do it that way. Okay, so one other thing that I want to talk about is we might as well go with the special guest, right? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I have a special guest live from California, Miss Drew. Come on, Drew, and say hi.
Hi, Lisa. How you doing? And hi, girls. Happy to be on with you today and everything. I'm actually at the shop in California for those who live nearby and come out and they hang out with me. We have a lot of fun, and I look forward to all those times that we spend together. And for those who I don't know and haven't had a chance to talk to or even see, feel free. Just call me or, at the shop here. Or you can email me and let me know if you're going to be in town and everything. Today we are closed on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we're here still working and everything. So I'm so excited to be a part of y'all live today. And I look forward to seeing all those beautiful quilts as well as you are at this time. And next time, maybe I'll pull out my 30s antique quilts I have and show off some of the ones that I've collected as well. And so I thank Lisa and I thank Nick for supporting Lisa in all that she does. It's a running joke. Everybody start laughing.
All right, so cut her off.
I have nothing but love for him.
All right. Am I on, Kaylee?
Yeah, you're on.
All right, so I'm glad you got to meet Drew. She's going to have some...
Drew.
Hey, how y'all doing?
She's still talking.
No, I'm not.
Here, you're good.
Okay, everyone. So that was Drew. She is the store manager in the California location for Primitive Gatherings. And she's going to have some cool things for you, because we currently in Wisconsin do not sell too many of the 30s and 40s, where Drew has a bunch of things there that if you have to have some of this stuff, she's willing to sell it to you. Trust me. And she'll tell you to get your pocketbook right out, because she's gonna empty it, because she's that good of a salesperson. So I wanted her to say hi, and then we will invite her back on a little later to show you some of the things that she has for you. Okay, so are we ready? Show the quilts. Show the quilts. They want to see the quilts. Okay. Now remember what I said. Some of these will end up being on the beds at the gathering. Take all the pillows off. All right, now this is the quilt that is technically probably from the 70s, I would think. But it has that springtime look to it. I'm not quite versed in these, but they look like those 70s calicos to me. And then, of course, it's always hard to figure out what a solid fabric era comes from. But this is hand quilted. It is so clean and so crisp and so new that I know that these aren't technically feed sacks, like I said, but it definitely is a spring quilt. And I had to buy it. Like, this is one we need to redo for sure. This pattern is super cool. So maybe we can find out whose pattern that was. All right. Trip around the world. Look at this beautiful, beautiful quilt. So this is all hand quilted. It is definitely feed sacks. It looks like they did a lot of feed sacks in between the solid colors. Definitely, I would say full or twin size. It would look good on that size bed, but just such good shape. Trip around the world. And I do want to point out that during this bed turning, we are going to pick a winner for this book. So please be commenting, and we are going to pick a winner. So I'm just going to randomly say, okay, Kaylee, pick somebody who's leaving a comment right now at this moment, and that's the person that's going to win the book. But we also will do something fun for some people who buy on our website as well. You know, we always do some of that. Now, we all know the work involved in something like this, but look at how spectacular this pink and green grandmother's flower garden. Look at all the work that went into this. Now, I know that this is one of those that was probably for sale for $100 or $200. And at that, I can't just not let this come home with me some way or shape. So I just buy these, and I absolutely fall in love with them because I think it's amazing. So if you do have any questions, Kaylee will be monitoring the group, and I know maybe Jessica is as well, and Judy C. So this one, I remember when I bought this one, I bought this from another vendor at a quilt show. Now, I really love this. It is kind of a crazy quilt, or a string quilt, but it is definitely planned, because when you look at it, like some of this came from the same square. So this was a square, and then they cut that square in half and used it on both sides there. You see that? These are the same fabrics. So they did string piece to square, cut the square, and then made blocks out of it. And this is probably not totally 30s, 40s. There's a mix of fabrics in here. Some of them are earlier, but hand quilted. We'll try to show the back sometimes, if we remember. Solid black on the pink one, but you can get a great idea of the quilting in this one. Oh, look at this. Weren't these ladies amazing that did these? So you all know this was all done by hand, making these little guys one or two at a time in the evening. Just the prep work alone. This is so quilted, double quilted. So there's two lines right next to each other on some of this. We'll show the back. So not a lot of quilting in the diamond, but around it, the double rows around, and then the cross hatching in the borders. Any questions at all, Kaylee?
No, just
No?
admiring.
Just admiring? Just some likes and some loves?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hummingbird. this quilt is super soft. Like it's like must have like wool batting in it, I think. Like very thin wool batting. But don't you love the scale of the hummingbird? I'm wondering if this was an original or if this was added later. But it is interesting how they finished this. Because I think with somebody with this skill, could have easily put a binding on this. So you never know what you're going to get. And like I said earlier, I'm not an expert. I'm a collector. I love these quilts. I don't know everything about them. I know that a lot of work went into them. I'm not afraid to wash these when I get them. I want them to be clean and fresh, and I want to use them. So look at this red with those feed sacks. And kind of a star pattern that they're making. How awesome is that? So I know a lot of you do our English paper piecing project each summer. So I buy a lot of quilts for that in mind. 7 Sisters. Now look at the quilting on here. Like it's just so random. Like they just quilted it. There's quilted lines. There's no marking, like no preciseness. They just quilted. There is, I mean, they kind of go on in an arcing motion, but they just kept, spacing didn't matter. They just filled it in. I love it. And we know, again, how much time each one of these took. This looks to be blue at one time. Can you see that in the camera, Kaylee? That this is actually blue? It's really faded, but it is blue.
We do have a question.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it now. Can you share how you wash these?
Okay, so you want the truth? Now, because these quilts don't have a lot of issues, or I don't really have to worry about fabric loss or the unstable dyes in this era of quilts, I literally just open up the washing machine, throw it in, throw the Tide Pod in, shut the door, throw it in the dryer. That's really all I do. And they turn out beautifully. I never had any issues so far. But I think this quilt, I put it in the 30s and 40s because of the turquoise. I believe that the blocks are way earlier. These are so much matter going on here that these blocks are probably from, I would say, wow, I want to say like 1840s, but this fabric, I want to say, is much earlier than the blocks. But again, quilted very precisely, very nice, just an awesome, awesome quilt. Show them the back. Now I know there's some like granny's wash and stuff like that. And sometimes if I'm a little leery about like this red bleeding in, I will make sure I put something like that in as well, that I do have some of those things going on. But again, grandmother's flower garden type hexies with that red as a accent. It's just amazing.
Where and how do you store your vintage quilts?
If you look back or on my blog, I do have a room that we store all the quilts in that I use for decorating at the house here. But in my new facility, we will have a quilt library, and everything will be cataloged. Everything will be folded just so, and I will know all what I have, because right now I don't always know what I have. But this quilt doesn't really have any feed sacks in it, but I put it in with this because of how nice and bright and airy and summery. I believe these are all shirtings, men's suiting, shirt fabrics in here with the chambray looking solids. So this was in the stack. So instead of hiding it or not putting it in the show, I decided you needed to see it.
So how does the batting hold up in these older quilts? Does it usually get thin?
Yeah, it's good batting. There's the quilting. The reason why you quilt the quilts is to keep the batting from shifting and to keep it in place. So the more your quilt is quilted, unlike this one coming up, the better that batting stays in place. Now this one is, I think, if I had to say correctly, that she was trying out her machine quilting skills on this one, because it's just like one line going down and not much else. So does anybody recognize this? If you just watched my American Gatherings video, this is stately. So I did change, this size to be able to use 5 mini charms, and see how random the border is here. I cleaned it up a little bit. I made it a little bit more contemporary, but this is the inspiration for stately that's in the American Gatherings book. And again, not always my era that I was collecting in. We'll show the back, but I love the pattern. So that's why I bought this quilt many years ago, because I wanted to reproduce that pattern. And Nick told me that he loves stately. Like, Linda's quilting on that one is beautiful. Kathy Decor made that one and machine quilted it, and it's just beautiful. But that was the inspiration for that.
They want to know if you have a top load or a front load washing
I have
machine.
a front load.
Front load.
Mm-hmm. And one of the best things I ever did was put my washing machine and dryer in my closet. So if you're building a new house or thinking about building a new house, put your washer and dryer in the closet. Someday I'll show you that. All right, so again, 6-pointed. I don't know what this shape is called. I need to brush up on that, but it is, again, very popular English paper piecing. Just a sweet, sweet twin size quilt. I can't imagine little girl, even a little boy, loving these quilts. There's the quilting. Perfect. Not a stain on this. A little bit of wear, like right there, the little hole. But when you consider these are, 80 years old, some of these, we're getting up there. We're in the 20s, so some of these quilts will be 100 years old coming up.
How long does it take for you to make a pattern after a quilt has inspired you?
Well, it depends on, what I'm looking for. When I do a book, I like to do 10 quilts, 8, 10 quilts in a book. And then I try to look for variety on what I'm doing. So a lot of times, I showed you that book on my table. I'll swoop through that and see if something catches me to recreate at that moment. So to recreate or to just do the pattern, I can write a pattern in an evening on how to do one of these quilts. So that's not the time-consuming thing. The time-consuming thing is, just figuring out what needs to be done to showcase the fabric line that we are currently working on. And then, I love to do scrap quilts. What needs to be done to showcase the fabric line that we are currently working. Whoops.
Sorry.
Okay, Kaylee's being a little finger happy there. But look at how sweet this is.
Love it.
I absolutely love this. I try to keep some of the tags on. to know where I got it from. This probably came out of Maine. This one came from an antique dealer in Houston, Texas at the show there. Let's show the backing. So you see they use this quilt. You see some of the fade from either when it was folded in a stack. But I would consider this not fine hand quilting, but kind of utilitarian. I need to take a drink. Oh, look at the border. Look at the binding. How would you like to bind that? Not easy. All right, time out here. I need to take a little drink. Okay, so Drew, if you are watching, do you want to come in and show the ladies and gentlemen what you have for sale at the California store?
Okay.
And I'll wait till you're done.
All right. Sound like a winner. All right. So Lisa was talking about how many the 30s that we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, and we have it on our website. And if you go on our website and you look for Facebook Live with Lisa and today's date, 30/30/21, these items will be under that category. And so can you see? Okay, so I'm going to show you some of our 30s that we have. These are can they see it, Miss Kaylee, or can you see it? Okay, so these are some of the layer cakes, the jelly rolls, some of our bundles that we have. We even have a solid bundles of 30s that they used a lot when they were using the feed sack fabric. And then I'm going to take you to some of our cut goods. Those were the cut goods, and these are the yardage. So these are all of our 30s. And these are also located on that same category. Okay. Give you another glance. Okay. And so, all right. And so did you see the bundles? And these are our fat quarters that we pre-cut ourselves. And we have those bundles. Okay. All right. And so if you have any questions or you want to give us a call and we will take care of you. Or you can go on our website as well and take a look at it. And we do have that other line that Lisa was talking about that she showed you, that the designer Lindsay that made it. And we actually made a quilt out of that line too. And I'll be happy to show it to you. So we have very little of it left. And then this is the quilt that we did. Okay. So it looked like Lisa is back and she's going to show you some more of her beautiful 30s quilts. And I'll be standing by to check them out myself. Okay.
Thanks, Drew. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Drusilla. You're awesome. All right, so this one, I believe it's called Cactus Basket or Cake Flower Basket or something like that. But we were just kind of looking at, do you know how like when we are laying out our blocks and we have to make sure that the same print is like one here, one there, and then one way over there? I just love how all three of these are just right here. And she did place all the red stripes in the corners. It's just so fun to sit here and look and to think about what was going on in their head. You know, maybe nothing, maybe they didn't care. Maybe they just laid them out as they got done, or as they ran out of that fabric, and that's basically how they went in the quilt. Who knows, right? So this one, see the solids that Drew was talking about? The 30s is famous for that particular green, all those pastel colors in solids as well. And I think they work beautifully with the feed sack fabrics. So this is would be a super fun quilt to make. I think it'd be great to do as a mini as well, right? Because we can't make every quilt big. So I like to mix it up and make some as couch quilts, some as miniature quilts. Now, look at this baby. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Look at this. So a great use of those solids, the green, couple shades of green actually, no big deal. She didn't like quit making it because she ran out of green. She just forged on and used a different one. I love the yellow, the little peachy pink in here. Not quite bubblegum pink, but just about. But look at the work in this baby. Like I see some things like this and I just have to have them. Have to have them. So somebody asked what was in my drink, if it was supercharged. So literally, I am a water drinker and I put lemon essential oils in my water. And it's like drinking freshness. I just love, so maybe that's my superpower is lemon essential oils. Okay, back to business. This one has a pantograph on it. So finished later, but well loved. So this quilt must have been who knows how old, but it has been worn and loved. But look at this fabric. This is from the 30s, so maybe it was left over, like somebody found it in somebody's stash. But isn't it a beautiful lake house looking quilt? Like I absolutely love this. Now just to find fabric like that and recreate it like totally would be awesome. I love the sparklers, the reds. You have to have that. You don't want it all to be mushy, mushy blue. This is what I would consider today's low volume as well, even though there is some bright, bright colors in it. It is a lot of low volume mushiness going on. And I think these, again, a lot of these blues are from shirts. Quilting, so you'll see the pantograph on there. So this quilt, I don't know how long arms have been in existence, but I think for sure maybe late 80s. I don't know. That's a good question. Does somebody know that? Like when the first long arm came around or pantograph? Now I bought this quilt for the pattern. I love the 9-patch used as sashings. And then I could see like using this concept with applique blocks in the middle. So again, that's why I buy a quilt, because it speaks to me like, hey, I love that. I'm going to do something with that. But then at the same token, look at how great these blues from the 1880s and those feed sacks get along so nice. So I would think this is a scrap basket quilt put together in the 30s or 40s with what they found in scrap basket. And this is just simply hand quilted. Anybody counting what quilt we're on? All right. Look at how happy this one is. How can you not want to take a nap under this baby and snuggle up with it? Or put this on a little girl's bed. And it doesn't have to be, just across the edge or, I just love, or behind on a wall on a little girl's bed. Would be amazing. Again, we'll show the quilting. Look at that. Been washed, puckered up. This is like a brand new quilt. I know exactly where I was when I found this quilt. I was in California at a guild, and we went to the local antique store, and I bought this one for $100. I love that cheddar right in that accent spot. San Clemente, I think, is where I was. Again, feed sacks everywhere. And how cool is it? Like, don't you wish our flour came in a fabric bag nowadays for ultimate recycling? Wouldn't that be so cool? Bring back all the mills in the United States. Look at these big buttons. I think this is called nosegay or something like that. Okay. If you remember, or if you know. Big Baptist fan quilting. But look at how big and bold those prints are. But it didn't matter. They just used them. Love the button print. And it came in orange. It came in blue. It came in green. And every one of the handles of the bouquet has the same fabric. Very nice. And look at feed sack back. Chunky, clunky binding. Super cool. Now this next quilt, I got this one in here as well. I think there's some 30s fabrics in it. However, I think this is just a little newer than 30s, but there definitely has some feed sack fabrics in it. But this is in pristine condition. This has never been used. But again, how fun, how exciting to redo this pattern. All based on a hex. Just love it. That blue is so beautiful. Quilting. Any questions at all, Kaylee?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Oh, actually, they wanted to know if you have ever done a wedding ring quilt.
I have. I will show you it. I'll write that down. I'll show you my wedding ring. There's actually a little story on my wedding ring quilt. I made it in 2000. I know this for a fact because it actually was strip pieced wedding ring back, 20 years ago. And the quilting instructor, this was before, I think I was just starting to do some pattern designing and stuff like that. But so I finished it in 2000. So it was probably 1999, 1998 because I hand quilted it. But she didn't like my fabric choices. So I'm going to show you that quilt in one of our lives. But it did really well. It is a beautiful quilt. So triangles, equilateral triangles forming a hex. Nice twin bed. Definitely some 30s fabrics out here. Just fun. Nice couch porch quilt. All right, so the next comment that you see up is the book winner. Who's our book winner?
The last one that's on there?
The next one that comes up.
Lori Albrecht. Nope, just kidding. Albrechtston.
All right, Lori Albrechten, this is your book. So message us your shipping information, or if you do place an order, let us know. We'll just throw it in. But text us, message us your information so we can get you the book. You are the winner. All right, how beautiful is this one? Some of you might have seen this earlier on my blog post. I decorated with this one last year. And again, stunning, stunning quilt. You can tell that there's a couple different creams used, not all the same one, but does that deter you from loving it any less? Nope. So beautiful, beautiful flying geese everywhere. Here a geese, there a geese, everywhere, only geese. There's the quilting. Hand quilted. All right, this next one, some of you might recognize. I believe it's called Clara's Stars. So we recreated this as one of our summer's Block of the Week's EPPs. And I don't know if we have any of it left, but I know we can still get you the pattern and the papers if you want to make this. We did ours out of reproduction fabric, so more Civil War-ish. But here is the original done in the feed sacks in the 30s. And I love all the solids used as the points of the triangles. So you get a really good shot of this one, Kaylee.
Mm-hmm.
So in our stitch group, if you finish this, can you please share it? We'd love to see your quilt of this. All right, we're getting down to the bottom. Two left. Two left. Now this one blows my mind. Like, really? Who made this? I want to meet this lady. I hope she comes and haunts me in my dreams because this is crazy. And it's beautifully done. I mean, I know how hard that is. So what you do is when you're sewing this, you kind of straighten it out and you just keep sewing. But obviously this is bias. But she did an excellent, excellent job on this quilt.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
blow your mind, over the top, genuine, feed sacks everywhere. Amazing. Let's show the back. How beautiful is that? So if I have anybody that wants to attempt making this, maybe even if we paper pieced it, like I think you could do that. Whoop. All right, last but not least, we have this kind of square with two triangles set apart. Actually, this is a quarter square triangle with a center bar in each one. But this one too, like I did not collect these quilts, but when I saw this, it's like, that's coming home with me. It's just spectacular. The pink is just perfect. Subtle enough, but yet different enough to set apart all the fabrics. There's the quilting. So if you have any questions, we'll pause a few minutes here to see if you have any questions.
And it looks like, I mean, Drew's still here. Should we ask Drew if she has
Yes,
anything
Drew,
more?
if you want to come back on and say hi, come on back on.
Hey, Drew.
Hi, girls. How you doing?
We're good.
Yeah. Good job, Lisa. That was a beautiful trunk show. Next time we'll let you pull out some more of those, and we'll do the same here in California. And we'll, it's not going to be at my house though. We will just, bring ours here, and a couple girls here. They do have some antique 30s quilts as well. And so I'm going to show you again some of our pre-cuts that we have. Like I said, if you want to go on the website and add to your collection, because I'm pretty sure you have a lot already. And if you just want a little bit more to make one of those beautiful quilts that Lisa showed today, we do, like I said, we have pre-cuts. You can go under the website, and it's going to be under Facebook Live with Lisa. And I'll have 3/30/21. And I really appreciate Lisa letting me be a part of this today. And tomorrow, I actually have my Facebook Live as well. and we're looking to have a lot of fun. And I thank Kaylee for all the hard work that she's doing to make that video. I think you should come out here, Kaylee, and hang out with me a little bit.
Oh yeah, you gonna fly me out?
Come on, girl. You're on it. Then I'll take you to the winery. You get to see all of the, take all those beautiful pictures and
Absolutely, I'm there.
yeah, add it to your portfolio so we can have a good time and everything. Now, Lisa sometimes doesn't like to share, so we'll have to talk with her about that. Right? Maybe we'll convince Nick, and then Nick will convince her.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for letting me be a part of it today. I really had a good time. I love looking at all those beautiful quilts that Lisa has as well. I mean, she does have a boatload of them and everything. So it is good. It is good. I love the fact that she loves sharing them with everyone as well and everything.
Awesome.
Good job,
Awesome,
Lisa.
Drew. She says,
right.
good job.
Yeah.
Yes, Drew.
And thanks, Nick.
Don't I have a lot of cool 30s quilts? I remember when I didn't have any. So I've been diligently collecting your treasured 30s. Like every time we would be buying fabric in the California store, Drew would always be like, we need more 30s. We need more 30s. And I'm like, what? No. I get it, Drew. Sorry, it took me a little bit longer to come to the party, but I'm here now. And I am just so lucky and blessed and honored to be able to have these quilts and to enjoy them and to share them with you all. So this is what I spend my money on. If you want to know where my money is, it's right in these quilts. So that's what I spend my hard-earned bucks on when I get a paycheck. I buy quilts, I rescue them, I love them, I reproduce them, I share them with you. And again, I want to thank you for letting me, allowing me, it's an honor to be able to hang out with you guys, for you to watch for us to serve you in any way that we can at Primitive Gatherings, either here in Wisconsin or in California. I know Drew appreciates those who get to walk in the store and come visit her. Oh, yeah. Or maybe you want to buy something from Drew online now. Maybe that's a new source for you because they have a lot of different stuff than we do here in Wisconsin. But we're working at upping our game here in Wisconsin and not being so primitive. Like, I actually bought Tula Pink fabric. Okay? That new store is Tula Pink fabric. Okay. So I've thrown all that look away. We're going to do whatever we want, when we want. We're going to try to please everybody that comes to the retreat. We're going to have something for everybody to buy. And I just, again, want to thank you for hanging out with us and giving me the best job ever. Yeah. So hang out with us. We have a lot of more videos coming up for you that Kaylee's been working on editing. So stay tuned, like us, share us, tell people about us so we can continue to keep doing this for you. Yep. So,
all right. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, Drew.
Bye. Big love, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.